Today we got a Force Power Guide for fantasy-like game Star Wars RPG, and we're talking the Foresee power. Foresee allows its user to reach out and see glimpses into the future, whether it's gaining information about what's to come so they can better prepare for it or avoid it to some extent, or if it's something more immediate and dangerous and then they can react to it. This is a power we've seen employed numerous times throughout Star Wars canon, anytime someone spoke of visions, basically. Anakin's visions of Padme dying in childbirth, for example. Also, this can happen virtually any time a Force user fought a thing and didn't die for a time. You could argue that they could sort of feel what their opponent was doing, kind of like see quick glimpses into the future and react to it in the moment. I suppose you could also say that the sense power was at play in those kind of examples, but whatever, either way. Mechanically, the base version of the Foresee power allows its user to get vague hints about what's gonna happen from the GM. Typically, you at least want to give them some sort of heading, we set a course for Sullust to investigate this one lead, and they say, okay, while you're meditating, while hyperspacing your way there, you see X and Y. Technically, this is supposed to be the character's own personal future, but if you find that a smidge limiting as a GM, I think it's perfectly fine to ignore that as you see fit. Whatever works for your campaign. Now, I split the upgrades into two main parts. One part just focuses on upgrading this more abstract, free-flowing story aspect to the power, more info farther into the future, and the other part, a far bigger part of the tree, is all about representing foresight with crunchier mechanics. We got some initiative help, some teammate protection, and some party action economy enhancement. Though all of this really only helps you in the first round of combat. Wait, a group of stormtroopers are coming from that direction. Get ready! That's it. No giving out tips during combat, even though individual rounds can take as long as several minutes each, according to the book, so there would be time to be like, oh no, now they're coming over that hill, look out, and they get a little bonus or whatever. Like, you could theoretically justify bonuses throughout the whole thing, but you don't get that. There's also a bunch of range and number of target upgrades to get along the way with that path, but overall, I'm just not sure how worth it's going to feel to put all the points into this power to get to the point to where you're doing all the things for that one turn of the encounter. That's mechanically speaking, it might not be worth it. Now, thematically speaking, whether or not it feels right enough for your character to be worth it is a different story, entirely up to you. At the very least, it's better than the Mystic Seer talent tree is for bringing to life a see the future kind of a character, though I suppose you could just do both if you have enough points. If you do think the Foresee power is right for your character, you can find it in the Age of Rebellion core rulebook and the Force and Destiny core rulebook.